Hey, it's John. Welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm very excited to bring you the first of a three-part series on the construction of the California high-speed rail initial operating segment in the Central Valley. So with these videos I'll actually be showing you the majority of the initial operating segment from the south to the north, which is why I'm starting with construction package 4. Now construction package 4 is a 22-mile segment that starts between the towns of Shafter and Wasco, which are northwest of Bakersfield, California. And it extends 22 miles north to run into construction package 2-3. Now the contract for construction package 4 was actually signed back in February of 2016 and construction began in the summer of 2017. So there's been quite a lot of work on it, as you will see in this video. Now for those of you that may not be familiar with this project, earlier this year California's Governor Gavin Newsom kind of canceled the project, so to speak, but what most of the reporting on this story kind of didn't make clear to the public was that the 3 construction packages that were already under contract and had a large amount of construction already completed would not be affected by that. It was just canceling future work, basically because there wasn't a whole lot of money there anyway. So obviously the goal of the project is to get a fully functioning railroad capable of speeds up to 220 miles an hour between San Francisco and Los Angeles completed. Originally the date was supposed to be 2029. Obviously that's slipped back because they haven't even started on some of the segments of the project which will take the longest, such as tunneling under the Tehachapi Mountains and tunneling under the Pacheco Pass to get into the Bay Area. But with all that aside, let's get into the construction that is actually going on, because it's still fascinating and there's still a lot of work to see. And incidentally, one of the projects in construction package 4, the Poso Creek Viaduct, actually was just officially completed about a week ago, so that's pretty exciting news.
Alright, so this is just an overview of construction package 4. You can see it starts down there in the south at the intersections of Madera and Poplar Avenue and ends up there at the north at the end of construction package 2-3, which is 1 mile north of the border between Tulare and Kern counties. So this is the intersection of Madera and Poplar, and as you can see, those are the BNSF tracks there in the background. We're looking off to the west now and turning towards the north. So in this video I'm going to intersperse Google Earth animations to try and make it more clear where this right-of-way actually is. And here at Merced Avenue, as you'll see in the drone video, I'm not exactly sure what's going on. It looks, obviously you can see there in Google Earth, they cleared a lot of trees, and it looks like they might have redesigned how this grade separation will be built, because it looks pretty different. Here we are driving north on California 43, that's BNSF tracks on the right, and up ahead is the first visible sign of construction package 4, which you will see is the Merced Avenue grade separation. So here we are looking south, and this is the entrance to this construction site, but it appears that this is actually where Merced Avenue is going to be rerouted. So I don't know if they're going to extend it west of that road that we were just looking at, or how this is all going to work exactly, but obviously you can see there off to the right, that's where they've cleared the trees that you can see on Google Earth. But this is definitely where the bridge will be built. And it's bridging California Highway 43, the BNSF tracks, and the future high-speed rail tracks. So we will pick up in the next shot off in the distance there. And you can see that pink, I think, is the original alignment of Merced Avenue, and the blue is what it looks like is being built. And this drone shot is picking up from the last one off in the distance. We are not quite to the Kimberlina Ave Viaduct yet. We will be traveling there shortly. So you can see that this curve is much shallower than the BNSF tracks, because it will be traveling much faster than the BNSF trains. So here is the Kimberlina Viaduct, and here we are traveling west. There's the viaduct foundation on the right. And the BNSF tracks. So the most significant structure of Construction Package 4 is the Wasco Viaduct, which we are traveling to now. This viaduct is a combination of a pergola structure as well as a viaduct, and it carries the high-speed rail tracks over the BNSF right-of-way and onto the city of Wasco. So all of these huge pergola structures, it's really hard to get a sense of just how big they are on video here, but I mean, when you see this thing in real life, it's enormous. It's quite an impressive structure. So this next point that we're jumping to is the Wasco Station. The Wasco Station is not actually an original Santa Fe station. It was torn down and rebuilt there in 2006, and it's actually the home of the Wasco Chamber of Commerce. The station portion is actually an outdoor station. So you can see there off to the right, there's some of the intrusion walls that they're having to build when the high-speed rail tracks are closer than 100 feet to the freight tracks. And these walls are pretty substantial to try and keep freight trains entering the high-speed rail right away, or the high-speed trains entering the freight rail tracks, in the event of a derailment, of course. So here is the relocation of the BNSF tracks. I'm not exactly sure where they're moving them from. I assume they're probably just moving them further to the east as we are traveling north now, but they are relocating 4 miles of BNSF trackage for CP4. And here we are at the Wasco Station, which is currently served by the Amtrak San Joaquins. And the high-speed trackage follows the BNSF trackage for the next few miles. So here is California Highway 46, and obviously they're going to have to build a bridge over that. So these are the offices of California Rail Builders, which is the joint venture that is building Construction Package 4. And you can see, obviously, what a big project this is. They have a ton of trailers there. So here we are at the McCombs Avenue grade separation, and as you can see, currently they're only working on the eastern half. They probably don't own the land on the western side of the high-speed rail trackage yet, but with all of these grade separations, they are pretty big projects in and of themselves, with just having to relocate the road and build a pretty big bridge, obviously spanning 3 rights-of-way here. And here's a northbound BNSF intermodal train, Z train. So right before Poso Creek is obviously where the high-speed rail tracks begin to separate from the BNSF right away. This is just driving on California Highway 43 between McCombs Avenue and the Poso Creek Viaduct. Really gives you a good sense of what the Central Valley is like. As you can see, it's pretty flat, and that's why the high-speed rail tracks are being built on an elevated right-of-way, and that's why you will see many culverts, because there's signs everywhere saying that the roads may flood. So obviously when there is any kind of significant rain event, obviously the whole valley, it seems, is probably underwater, and that's what the High-Speed Rail Authority is trying to prevent from happening to their tracks. So here's the Poso Creek Viaduct. Even this, it looks like a pretty short bridge, but it's actually 240 feet long. It's a pretty substantial structure. So here we are at Peterson Road. As you can see, that blue line is, they're only building one viaduct, and they will reroute the other county road around, so they only have to build one bridge. That's an irrigation canal right there. But that's the thing that made it kind of hard to film this project is every mile is, the whole valley's on a grid. Every square mile there's a county road, but some of these roads aren't public. They're just basically sections without trees that run through fields. And so it was kind of hard trying to figure out where to drive to get the footage and which roads were public and private. And obviously this one is private right there. And as you can see, they're lining the edges of the right-of-way with riprap to try and prevent erosion, like I said, from future flooding events. But you can see those trucks, for comparison, just see how massive this, it's about 100 feet wide. So here we are, and that is Peterson Road in the distance. And as you can see on the left, that's where the road will be rerouted. And they have not actually started working on Peterson Road yet. I'm sure they're just waiting to finish up the grade separations at CAHSR Highway and Pond Road. So here you can see just how much dirt is having to be moved for this project. It's an enormous amount of regrading. This is standing at Peterson Road. So they are actually working on Pond Road, which we will see here in just a second. So obviously water is hugely critical for the Central Valley's agriculture. And you'll see canals and ponds all over the place. And it appears that little section there off to the right might be owned by the High-Speed Rail Authority, but either way it looks like they stopped irrigating it and the trees obviously died. So here's the Pond Road grade separation, and as you can see, they've already paved the county road off to the right to run it into Magnolia Avenue. So as you can see, this is how big the structure is. Again, all of these structures are enormous. And this is just taking a trip on that new county road. Once we get up here to Magnolia Avenue, you can see that we still have to turn left into the high-speed rail right away, and I'm sure they're going to change that. You'll just continue on straight there once they get the bridge finished there at Pond Road. So I just wanted to show you, this is actually driving across the high-speed rail right away, a little bit north of where we just were, but just to get a sense of how remote the Central Valley is where this line is being built. You can see the dust there when we took off, just to show you how dry the Central Valley is. There was some fire smoke in the air, but most of the cloudiness that appears on camera is actually from dust. There's just, the Central Valley is very, very dry. All of the plants that are grown have irrigation pointed directly on them. So it's not like the Midwest where you have center pivots irrigating the entire field. So here we are flying up towards the Garcas Highway grade separation. And as you can see off to the right of the Garcas Highway Viaduct, there is another county road that's being rerouted, just like it was back there at Pond Road. So that is the Garcas Highway Viaduct, and it looks like it's substantially complete there. This is looking at it from the west, looking east. Obviously those power lines are going to have to be removed before any tracks are built or anything like that. And there you can see in the blue is the county road that's being rerouted to run into Scofield. Again, so they only have to build one bridge back there at Garcas. And here we are, going to be traveling up towards the end of construction package 4. So CP4 ends a mile north of the Tulare Kern County line. We will actually be crossing over the Tulare Kern County line here momentarily. So right about here is the Tulare-Kern County line. As you can see, there's a little section of right-of-way that's been cleared. So 1 mile from here is the end of CP4. And I had to pause my drone here, but that about wraps it up. That section of cleared right-of-way is actually part of CP23. So please subscribe to my channel, and I will be putting that video out as soon as I can.
So thanks a lot for watching my video. I really hope you liked it. Again, this is just the first part of a 3-part series about the California high-speed rail construction in the Central Valley. So please subscribe to my channel to see those future updates, and I will see you all soon.